Believe. Believe is a very funny word. It's a very strange word. Because if I say, believe me, I'm telling the truth. Believe me, he or she did this. Believe me, that the world's going to end. What does it mean to believe? So I did a bit of research, right? And, well, research meaning looking up in the dictionary. And I looked for the meaning of this word believe. And it was to accept that something is true, but especially without proof. So when I say believe me, does that mean you have to believe me without, well, you have to trust what I have to say without looking at the proof? So if you were someone who believed in everything I said, if I said the world was flat, like they did back in ancient history, that means you think, yeah, okay, the world is flat. If I say the sky is purple, does that mean you believe that the sky is purple? The sky is purple? Really? So today I want to talk about this term of believing. And I also want to share the result that I got from the experiment I did last month, or for the last 2 months, with a group of young children. Yeah. But before that, let's take a moment to worship the Supreme Buddha. To do this, can you all be upstanding and recite Namaskar with me? Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, you may now be seated. So this term believe. Well, we used to believe in a lot of things. Like, for example, I remember believing that if I was a good boy, I would go to sleep in December on December the 24th and wake up on the 25th of December and look under the Christmas tree to see Santa Claus leaving presents. I remember believing in Santa Claus. Oh wait. For all those children and all those people who still have a childhood, just cover your ears for a moment. But we all know Santa was just our parents. Okay, you can all open your ears now. We used to believe in, say, the tooth fairy. I used to believe in the tooth fairy. My friends told me about the tooth fairy, and so I believed them. That this small fairy this fairy would come and take my tooth and replace it with a golden coin or some money. And so I believed them. And magically, it happened. My first tooth was magically replaced with some a coin. But then I realized that other children get money for all their teeth, but I only got some money for my first tooth. So I had some doubts, and then I realized that I was fooled. Well, I used to believe in the Easter Bunny, except when the Easter Bunny didn't leave his treats in our garden. So we used to believe a lot of things. I used to believe that the moon was made out of cheese. But when I learned that it wasn't, well, I was surprised. We used to believe, well, what we believe doesn't always need to be false. It can be true, right? It could be true. What we believe could be true, but if we take it without proof, that's like blindly walking without looking where we're going and hoping that we get to our destination. So you want to go from point A to point B, and someone's blindfolded you. And you're just feeling your way around, hoping that you get to B without tripping, without falling, without hurting yourself, without even getting lost. What are the chances of getting lost? Pretty high, right? So, believe. So if I told you, believe me, that what I'm saying is absolutely true. Well, if I can't prove it, then does it mean that it's true? Well, sometimes it could. I'm not saying that when people say believe me and don't give you proof, doesn't mean it's 100% false. I mean, take it carefully. Because anyone could say that, right? Believe me, so-and-so, that plants are trying to attack us, or robots will take over the world, or self-driving cars are deciding who to kill. Well, you can't believe that if you have no proof. So that is what believing is. Now, why do we believe? Why do we believe what people say? Because we trust the person. We trust them. So for example, like I remember my parents are the ones who told me about Santa Claus. We believed what they said because we trust our parents. We think that what they say is 100% true. Well, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't trust your parents. You should. You should. You should, and we always hear, right? You should never trust what you read on the newspapers, on magazines. Why? Because not everything they say is 100% true. We all know that newspapers spin the truth just so people are more interested in reading what they have to say, of listening to what they have to say. So, we believe when someone we trust says something. But that's dangerous, right? Because if someone we trust... Okay, let's take the extreme. Let's say someone replaced the person you trust with a robot who they can control. And so they can tell you to believe in anything. Or let's say the person you believe is, the person you trust is mind-washed, is controlled in some sort of way. That means we're going to have to believe what they have to say. So trust isn't a bad thing. Trust is not a bad thing. But be careful on what you take. Now, how do you know what to trust and who not to trust, what to believe and what not to believe? That is entirely your decision. But I would like you to think about it, right? So, we all know in school, right? We learn a lot of things. And I remember I used to love science. Biology, chemistry, physics. I used to love them all because they had experiments. You see, experiments are things that they use to prove what they have said. So, for example, right, in chemistry, right, they teach us. So a person we trust says, if you react chemical A with chemical B, you get chemical C and chemical D. They teach you that. But that's not all they do. They then give you the chemical A and the chemical B and say, react X amount of this and Y amount of this, and you should get the results. And if you do the experiment right, you get the exact products. And now you know 100% that what they said was true because you did it for yourself. You saw it with your bare eyes. You understood it. And therefore you can believe. Well, you know now you no longer believe. You understand it. You no longer have to believe in what the teacher has said. That A and B is C and D. Well, reacts and makes C and D. You no longer need to believe in any of that. Now you can understand that completely. You know it's true. But even if someone came up to you and said, wait. You see, A and B, if you react A and B, you get D and E. But because you've done the experiment, you know that that's wrong. That is 100% incorrect because I did the experiment. I understood it. And once you understand something, there's no turning back. You can never understand something, right? So why am I going on about this belief thing? This trust. You see, I'm talking about this because I feel that we take a lot of things due to belief. But I understand, right? The things that we know is, well, it's between our beliefs and the truth. That's what our knowledge is. So if we had a Venn diagram of, so you guys know what Venn diagrams are, right? So the two circles that intersect each other, right? So one side will be your beliefs. On the other side will be the truth. And the intersection is our knowledge. So I understand that, but that our knowledge is based on our beliefs and what is the truth. I understand that, but we take a lot of things due to belief. And so we are always uncertain on what is right and what is wrong. If this is true or if this is false. Because we believe. We don't understand. We don't know if it's true or not. Like I said, right? I used to love science. And so I took the scientific approach for this theory of what you give is what you get. So, as you know, right? In the Buddhist philosophy, the Buddha talks about this theory of what you give is what you get. So, I took this And I wanted to find a way if we can prove it. So what I did was, I brought together, well, I used a couple of young children. All of them were aged, I would say around 9 to, most of them were 9 to 18, 19, 20, but there were one or two exceptions who are older than 20. And there were about 30, 40 or so young children. And I decided to do the experiment with these people, right? And so to prove this point, what I did was, I asked these people to do as many good things as possible throughout a month, a 1 month period. Do as many good things as possible, and then tell me what you got back in return. The good things you got back and the bad things you got back. So the good outcomes and bad outcomes. And before all this, I did check, right? They gave their full consent. They said that they were all physically and mentally healthy, right? So, and I told them that they can leave the experiment at any time possible, right? To make it all ethical, right? And I didn't trick them in any sort of way. So each and every one of them they gave their full consent to doing this, right? So I told them to do as many good things as possible throughout this 1 month period. So look for opportunities to do good things. Because I could have obviously said not just 1 month, but to say let's take 4 months. But if you take 4 months, that means we have to wait 4 months to get the results. And neither myself nor the experimentees would like to wait that long. So we took it for 1 month and to do as many good things as possible. So every 2 weeks they'll give me their results. And I'll say that it was very interesting. It was very interesting on what they got back. So I've got the results here, right? I saw that this was almost like a medicine, to be honest. Something that can heal physically. Something that can heal relationships. Something that could sometimes even heal, like, this was one example, right? It could heal, I don't know how much, but mental illnesses. To be honest, I was surprised. I was surprised when I got the results back. Okay, obviously I had some sort of idea on what sort of results I was supposed to get. I had some sort of idea, but I wasn't 100% sure. Because obviously this world is not theoretically 100% correct, right? So no matter what I think, it's not going to be like that. So I had some sort of idea, and I was surprised. And also, right, before I go and talk about these results, right, I also had asked a small group of people, I think only 6 of them, out of the 40, to do something a bit extra. Whenever they give something to someone, in their heads, wish for something. Wish for, I said anything. And that's what I said. Right, so come to the results, right? I can tell you that every single time I ask these people, They said when they did something good that they were happy. Now that's obvious, right? When you do something good, you'll be happy. That you get praised. That people say, well done, thank you, and they appreciate your work. That's all pretty much obvious. When you start doing something good, obviously you'll get these things. But even though it's obvious, that is something that is amazing. Why? Appreciation. You see, you get appreciated. You get praised. And in the end, you feel extremely happy about yourself. You feel extremely happy. Now, that may be like pretty obvious, but which means whenever you feel sad, whenever you feel down, whenever you feel like you're having an unlucky day, if you help someone, if you give someone something, whether it's giving them something that they need, whether it's giving them words of confidence, words of advice, whether it's giving them a shoulder to cry on, whether it's just talking with them because they seem lonely, there are tons of things you could do. But by doing one of them, I can say 99% of the time, you will get happiness back. Instant happiness back. I'm saying I'm not saying, I would like to say 100%, but there's obviously there may be that time, maybe once or twice, that you may not feel happy back. But every single person I talked to, who gave me the results, all of my guinea pigs, right? They've all said that they were extremely happy when they got this back, when they gave something, when they did something good for someone. So that means whenever you feel sad, whenever you feel down, just give something, help someone, and in return, instantly, at that exact moment, you feel happy. Which means we now have no reason to be sad. But obviously, right, when we feel sad or down or have these negative emotions, we don't feel like giving something to someone. We don't feel like helping someone. But if we were able to push through that barrier, if we were able to hit that barrier and break it, smash it open, and so even when we feel sad, we're able to help someone, in that moment, you'll be happy. So to be honest, this is like treasure to me. This is like finding hidden treasure. How you can be this is the way you can be happy most of your life. And then we also talked about how it can heal. It's like a medicine, right? It can heal relationships. So most of the things that these children have done, right, was to help someone else, usually their parents, friends, even some to like random strangers, and shopkeepers, teachers, all these people, right? And when they did this, they made their relationship with their friends, the relationship with their parents, with their friends, with their teachers, became stronger. So what does it mean to have a stronger relationship? That means you have become closer with this person. That means you have brought a relationship together. Which means if you don't like to have fights with friends, have fights with your parents, argue with your parents, to have grudges against your teachers. If you don't like that, all you have to do is give something to them, and immediately that relationship becomes stronger and arguments decrease. Arguments decrease, grudges decrease, hatred between one another decreases instantly. These are all instant results. Instantly they disappear. So you can strengthen relationships. So, number one, happiness. You yourself is happy. So is the other person. So it's a win-win situation, right? You make the other person happy, in turn you become happy. Number two, relationships between these two people. Relationships between, it doesn't need to be a person, with a dog. Like we know, if we give food to a dog, the dog starts to bond with us. Like back in history, right? People used to have dogs so they can protect them, right? To guard them, or to protect their houses, their valuable items, to protect them, and all this. So you can build relationships. Like for example, right? They say that their parents become happier, and so they do things for them, for their children. So like one of the examples, that one of the children had helped her dad do some work, and in turn her dad bought her ice cream, and she loves ice cream. So it's not proof. What you give is what you get. It might not be the exact same thing, but if you give happiness, you're going to get happiness in return. This shows that doing good things will give you good results. And anyway, right? You do good things, like your friends become more friendly. And I even have one person, well, not one, a couple, who said that before they had an exam, before they had an exam, they helped one of their school friends, right? They taught one of their school friends. They helped them learn a specific topic. And they said, when they did that, when it came to the test, that topic that they taught the other child, their friend, was really easy because they understood it so well. They understood that topic so well because why? They helped the other person. So she did that, right? She helped, not just her, but there was a couple, right, who helped their friends, and they got good results in return. That topic was easier. The test became easier. Whether it was maths, whether it was science, English, geography, history. Every time they did something to help the other person, in return, they learned it as well. They knew it very well as well. For example, right? Take your teacher. Your teacher knows his or her things, knows his stuff. But the more he teaches, the more he knows his stuff. See, a good teacher, a teacher who wishes for their students to do well, they can do their subjects, they can teach us, so if you give them a test, they can finish that test and get pretty good marks, right? It's not because they learned it. Well, you might think it's because they learned it before, right? And they went far in the subject. But think about it, right? Your parents also learn the same subject as them. But your parents can't teach it. Your parents might have forgotten some parts or might not understand some parts. But your teacher knows his subject so well because he teaches it. He helps others to understand it. You see, this is practical application, right? And some people were able to pass tests. So in the months that I asked them to do this experiment, some of them had very important tests like scholarship exams and end of terms and things like that, right? And these people who helped one another, these people who did all these good things, got good results in return, got good schools in return. So it is amazing what this can do. What you give is what you get. And also, right, then I told you that I told a couple of them to wish for something. Once they do something good, wish for it. And so one of them, they did a lot of good things. So they were very obedient and they did as many good things as possible. And they said within the 2 weeks that she wanted to have a new phone. She wanted to get a phone. And within that 2 weeks, she got a phone. She wanted to get some pairs of shoes. And she got 2 pairs. She wanted to get clothes. And she wanted like small things like maybe like a chocolate bar or some sort. And she got them. Within the 2 weeks, she got what she wanted. She wished for it. She got it. Why? Why is it so? It's because what you give is what you get. If you give someone happiness, you're going to get happiness. So you can see that giving, when you give, you get. Alright, and I told you that this is also like a medicine. So if someone has anger management, so anger issues, and need anger management, by giving and helping others, your anger decreases, especially for that moment. And then some of them have said that they've become less angry within this time. That the anger has decreased. So people with anger issues, your medicine. People with even there was one of them who was very, they didn't have depression. Well, they didn't tell me they had depression. And they said that they were mentally healthy. But he related that while doing all these good things, he felt that he had become more happier. He had become more happy. He had become more social. Now, he now talks more with his friends. His friends help him a lot. That he's now his parents now are love. He could sense that his parents love him more than they did. So, doesn't that mean that could be a cure for depression? Cure for anger issues. Heals relationship. Can make you smarter. See? And by doing all this, they feel good about it. They feel good that they did these good things. Do you not think that they can cure and do all this and feel good at the same time? You know how you get those ads, right? Like maybe hair products or, I don't know, creams and stuff like that. Things that feel good and things that does good, right? So some creams may feel good, where some creams don't feel good, but they do good. And I can't remember, there's one ad, I can't remember what brand or anything like that. But it talked about that this cream feels good, but this cream does good. Which one should they choose? And then they show their product and said, this feels good and does good at the same time. Well, this is the same thing. You feel good, and it does not just good, it does great. So that is, I feel, one of the greatest things ever. It is absolutely amazing. The theory of give and get, but obviously, for every good, there is a bad. So I asked them about negative outcomes as well, right? So I'm telling you, it wasn't all positive. There were negatives as well. And so when I asked them about negative outcomes, obviously, as you all know, we are currently in a pandemic, and none of them wanted to. Well, they don't want lockdown. They don't want quarantine. And so some of them said that I did all these good things, but I wasn't able. But when I was doing these good things, we were still in quarantine. When we were doing these good things, we were still in lockdown. So why didn't it work? So it didn't work. We were still in quarantine. We were still in lockdown. They wished for that to disappear, but it didn't. And also, there was another one who said she went round, so it's a very small kid, right? Around 7, 8 years old. She went around and to everyone in her class, and she gave compliments. She appreciated. And she said by the end of that day, her throat was hurting. So her throat was sore. So that's a negative outcome, right? And also there's the ones who did things like help their parents with cleaning the house, or with the garage, or I don't know, whatever they did. They said that they felt tired after they did it. That it was tiring. And also, there was one of them said that once they did all these good things, they felt ill. They became a bit ill with a stomachache and a headache. Which means that give and get, so the theory of what you give is what you get, has some negative outcomes. But what I would like to say is, okay, but for example, with the throat hurting, physically, it physically hurts. So your throat hurting or you having a sore throat is physical. But I feel when you do things when you do all these good things, mentally, you are happy. Physically, it may hurt, but mentally, you are extremely happy. So like lockdown, right? Physically, you may be in lockdown, but mentally, you aren't. Well, to be honest, right? Who knows? Who knows? Well, lockdown may not be a bad thing for that person. They may have taken it as a bad thing, but who knows? That may have been something that may have saved her life. Saved his life. What I mean by that is, okay, he or she did all these good things, but unfortunately, their town got locked down, right? And that's bad because they can't go to school, they can't go they can't visit their friends, they can't go out, and so on and so forth. But who knows that if there wasn't a lockdown, that this person went out, went to school, went to the parks, went shopping, and came home to find out that she is corona positive. Now what? Now isn't lockdown a good thing? So, what you give is what you get. It can have direct ways of taking effect, or it can affect you indirectly. And also, the one with that was physically tiring. I asked them, after they said that they were physically tired, right? I asked them, while they were doing this thing, while they're helping the other person, did they feel physically tired? And they said, well, while I was doing it, no, I wasn't. To a certain extent, they said that they weren't so tired. So it's almost like this person at that moment didn't feel that they were tired. It was just after they finished, they feel really tired about doing all this stuff. So in that period, let's take for example, right? That they were moving house, and so they helped pack and lift up furniture and take them all out into the van. And so let's say they are currently carrying a chest of drawers that is, say, 25 kilograms. Example, right? And they said that when they're doing this, they don't feel physically tired. Probably because they're laughing, smiling, and they're doing a good thing, right? But now let's take the same thing, but in a different place, where they're not helping someone, but doing it for themselves. So, where else do you lift 25 kilograms? In the gym. You lift 25 kilograms. Now what? Now you feel extremely tired. Excruciatingly tired. With pains everywhere. So doing good things suppresses all that. At least for that moment. While the one who went to the gym the next day will feel with their entire body aching. The one who helped the other person to move house instead doesn't feel their whole body. They may feel a bit of ache, but not as much ache as the one who went to gym. Does that not prove my point? So by the end of the experiment, well, there are tons more. It would have taken me hours and hours and hours to go through all the results. I just gave you a couple of the main ones. Just a couple. Now, to be honest, the people who did the experiment were very enthusiastic and gave me a lot of results. And I feel very happy that I did the experiment, because now I can prove, I can now say, people, I did the experiment. I got the results, and I can prove that when you give, you get. What you give is what you get. When you do good things, you get good things back. When you do good things, you get good things back. You see? I can now prove it to you. So I can mark the date as well. So today, on the Poya day of September 2021, I have given you the results. So if someone comes up to you and says, prove it to me that what you give is what you get, I can say, here's my results. And now you don't have to believe me. You don't need to believe anything I say. Why? Because here's the hard facts. These are the facts. Here's your proof. You don't need to believe it anymore. You don't need to believe what you give is what you get. No need to believe anymore. You now understand it, and you know it's true. You know it's true. Well, if you don't know it's true, right, you can say, well, you could have made it up. How do I know what you said is 100% true? Well, I can swear that what I said was 100% true, but if you don't believe me, what you can do is what? Try it yourself. Try it yourself. If you don't believe me, try it yourself. Just take a month out. Just take 1 month. Just take 1 month. Well, if a month is too long, shorten it. Take a week. If a week's too long, take a day. Well, obviously, when you take a day, you won't get the results you wish for. The longer, the better. But if you don't have enough time, because I know you guys are very busy with school, with education, with work, or whatever you guys do. Whether it's even like watching YouTube, right? Because obviously on this side, right, you have all the up next and all these things, right? You're probably all waiting to watch another video. So you all have busy lives, I know. So take the maximum time you possibly can. So if it's a month, take a month. And do as many good things as possible. And prove it to yourself that what you give is what you get. If I do good things, I'm going to get good things back. If I do good things, I'm going to get it back. You see, that is why I like Buddhist philosophy. Because you can prove it. And I don't feel the need to believe in anything. I don't accept that something is true, especially without proof. The definition of believe, right? I don't believe in anything. I prove it. I either prove it with experiments like this, or I prove it with my own understanding. If it makes sense, if I can understand it, and if it can make perfect sense, well, I don't believe anymore, I understand it. So, believe. Believe in anything you want, but do not believe in anything the Buddha had said. Don't act surprised. Don't believe anything the Buddha has said. Understand it. Understand it. Question yourself. Question everything. Because why? Don't believe anything. Prove it to yourself. Understand it. Because if you don't understand it, you are a blind person going to a destination, hoping you get to a destination. Not getting there, hoping. Open your eyes. Question it. Don't believe anything you hear. Understand it. Understand it. To be honest, that is not just about Buddhism. I'm telling this to everyone about everything. Question everything. You see, pretty much my chemistry and science and my chemistry and physics teacher used to absolutely, well, they didn't really hate me, but they were like this close to hating me. Why? Because I used to do a lot of questioning. I used to always ask why. Why is this? Why is that? Why is this? Why is that? How did that happen? And so usually he would take time out of his lesson and explain it. I remember once we were doing something in chemistry, and no, not just chemistry, in physics as well. My teacher went to the extent of talking about quantum physics in a year or grade 11 or 10, I remember. In grade 10 or year 10, we learned about, well, I learned about quantum physics. Well, he talked about it, at least. So I questioned it, and I questioned it until I understood it. Until it made complete sense. That is how I work. That's how my clock ticks. And so I'm telling you, don't be like that, right? I'm not telling you to question until it becomes annoying, right? So when someone says something, just don't go and say, why? 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 Don't do that. Because that's annoying. People will absolutely hate being way near you, right? But question. Not just question other people, question yourself. Why am I doing this right now? Why am I going to do that next? Question yourself. Because once you start questioning yourself, then you understand the truth. It's a question. Question yourself. Never take anything. Never believe anything. Especially in Buddhism. Especially about your life. Don't believe. Understand. Because that's the only way you can find the truth. Because we're all truth seekers. We are looking for the truth. Well, I am. You are as well. We are all searching for two things. Every single human being is searching for two things. Money And power? No. I for once don't care about money nor power. I search for two things. Number one, the truth. Number two, happiness. They say that there's three things that you can't keep hidden. The sun, the moon, and the truth. So I'm going to search for the truth until the very end. Search for these two things, happiness and truth. The truth and happiness. Who knows? They might be just one thing I'm looking for. Could be. So this month, if you don't believe in the give and get theory, do it. Do the experiment. Then say. And then, if you do the experiment and it does not work. Wait, I'm gonna get this right? This is the chat box, right? Yeah, okay. So, on this side, there's the chat. If it doesn't work, well, you can't write chats after the video had ended, right? So, the comments, use the comments and say, I did it, and it didn't work. And then I'll be very happy to talk with you and to see where I went wrong. And also, like last time, right? Spread your smile. This time, using the comments, the chat, write a time, if you can, or a time where you did something good and you got something back. So we have more evidence. And so we can show the world. Well, we don't need to show the world. So we can prove it to ourselves. Then what you give is what you get. So I hope this month you've learned something very new. And to be honest, I found this experiment very, very, very exciting. I was very excited to do the experiment. And when I got the results back, I was pretty happy as well. So I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who had helped me with this experiment, right? I would have liked to name you one by one, but obviously that would be too long and we don't want the sermon to drag on, right? But I would definitely thank everyone. Every single one who helped me in that experiment. Because without the experiment, obviously, I wouldn't be able to share my results. Right? So, definitely a big thank you there. And also, not just that, some of them even gave me tips to improve it for next time. Because obviously, an experiment has to be repeated, right? 2 to 3 times. We're not going to repeat it anytime soon, but eventually we will. But when we do, they gave me tips. For example, one of them said, maybe get our parents involved. Because they are children who go to school, but parents go to work or at home, and to see what sort of results they get. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. And also one of them said, maybe keep a control. So tell some of them to wish for things, but don't do good, and see what they get. And some of them to not do anything at all and see what they get. See? So I have been experimenting on very smart people. And if any of you want to also join in the experiment when we do it next time, drop a comment below and we'll see if we can get you to join as well. Because the more the merrier, right? The more people we get, the more evidence we have to prove Buddhism. Well, the Buddhist philosophy of what you give is what you get. And you, me, and we all can come together and prove a lot of things. Because I say the Buddha is a scientist. But the Buddha is a scientist. More than a religious religious leader. He's a scientist who gave us the way to find the truth. Just like Isaac Newton, just like Einstein, just like Galileo and Leonardo da Vinci, and all these amazing scientists, discoverers, these inventors, the Buddha is like one of them. Well, I feel like it's like that. I don't know about everyone else, but that's what I feel. It's my opinion. So you can help us in the future. Okay. Unfortunately, that brings us to the end of this sermon as well. Okay, then. Let's take a few moments to transfer merits and conclude. Let's take a moment to transfer the merits we've all acquired by making offerings to the infinite virtues of the Noble Triple Gem, chanting pith, listening to Dhamma, and engaging in various meritorious deeds today. So first and foremost, let's remind ourselves how incredibly fortunate we are to be in receipt of Lord Buddha's teaching, and with immense gratitude, let's transfer the merits to the Bhikshu Bhikshunis, Upasikas, who since time immemorial have protected and preserved the sublime teaching of the Buddha and passed it down to the generations of noble lineage. In the form of the Tripitaka, we thankfully available us today to study, to understand, to comprehend the Dharma. Let's all take more chance and merits we will acquire to all the members of the Mahasangha present throughout the world, including the chief prelates of all the chapters who have dedicated their life to the noble path and committed themselves to the betterment of all sentient beings. Let's not forget that among them will be the monks and nuns residing in local temples and nunneries, who have always been by your side through thick and thin, come rain or shine. Let's also take more chance and merits to Guru Sananse, as well as the other monks resident in the monastery, as well as the Anagarikas and Nagarikas attached to the monastery. Let's also take more chance for the merits to and express our gratitude to those who made great effort to disseminate teaching the Buddha, be that by sharing them out with others, inviting others to join them. May the power of the merits, if any have been born in the world of pain, may they redeem themselves and be born in the bliss of pain. May the power of the merits, may they abstain from the meritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble eightfold path, and attain Supreme Bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's all take more chance of merits I've all acquired to our devotees, friends of the monastery, for the sake of merits, continue to sustain the Mahasangha. This includes every one of you who have contributed to the construction of the monastery, to those of you who have provided the Mahasangha with shelter, alms, robes, medicines, as well as those who pass on the know-how. Extend their well wishes, may the power of these merits, may they abstain from their meritorious deeds. Fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble eightfold path, and attain the Supreme Bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's all take more chance and merits to our mothers, fathers, husbands and wives, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, nephews, nieces, our elders, friends and acquaintances, employers, employees, and to all those who help to support and assist us in any way, shape, or form. By the power of the merits, may they be healed in physical, mental ailments. May they overcome any obstacles to their spiritual progress. May they abstain from their meritorious deeds. Fulfill the meritorious deeds. Fulfill the noble eightfold path and attain Supreme Bliss Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's all take more chance and merits to the Devas, Brahmas, spirits, demons, Puranas, Sakadeva, as well as numerous gods and deities who are committed to protect and fulfill the Sambuddha Sasana. Let's all take more chance and merits to our guardian deities who keep watchful eye of us, and keep us out of harm's way. May the power of these merits, may they prosper in divine power and wisdom. May they abstain from their meritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble eightfold path, and attain Supreme Bliss Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's all take more chance and merits to our ancestors who predeceased us, to all those who've been friends, families, acquaintances in this long journey samsara, and to all those who've helped us, support us in any way, shape, or form. Let's take more transfer these merits. Let's also take a moment to transfer the merits to the members of the armed forces, who as a police force, who have sacrificed to protect the peace and harmony of our nation. May all those lost lives and more be their friend and foe, rejoice in the merits required today. Let's also take a moment to transfer the merits to all those who lost lives in natural calamities such as tsunamis, earthquakes, landslide, pandemics, reminding ourselves among them will be those who've been friends and family to us in this long journey samsara. Let's take a moment to transfer the merits to them. May through the power of the merits, may they, if any have been born in the world plane, may they redeem themselves and be born in the blissed plane. May through the power of the merits, may they abstain from their meritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble eightfold path, and attain Supreme Bliss Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Finally, let us all resolve, may the power and blessing of all the merits we have acquired throughout the day, we may witness the event of many hundreds of thousands of arhats on this blessed land. And finally, may through the power of all the merits required today, you and I and everyone who's made this program a success become Arhat Manse, or Arhat Main Manse, in this very life, in the era of the Gautama's Supreme Buddha itself. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May the blessings of Noble Triple Gem be with you all forever. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.